Hello, my creative friend. I want to make a hopefully short video about offloaders versus accelerators, because I believe that most people are using AI or are thinking about it or are afraid of it because they're thinking about it in the wrong way. Basically, they're thinking about it as an offloading technology, a technology that you can only imagine using as a way to offload the creative work involved in writing or in creativity. And this is damaging to us for multiple different reasons. So a couple of reasons that I want to go over in this video. First of all, if you are offloading your creativity to the AI, you are fundamentally, intrinsically damaging your ability to be a creative writer moving forward. Secondly, if you are only thinking of offloading as a possible use case for the technology, you're missing out on an extraordinary tool that you could be using to further your own imagination and your human creative writing career. So let's think about this first of all. Offloading, what does it mean? First of all, offloading is when you type a couple of sentences into a chat box and have it spit out a story for you. I want to write a love story between two characters, blah, blah, blah. Write it for me. You're having the AI write for you. You're offloading that creative work. When professional writers or even amateurs who are interested in doing it try that out and get these really bland, generic results, they assume the technology is not very good because it can't do that work for them. But that's by definition offloading. If you as a writer are trying to use the technology in that way, do the writing for me, you are blunting your own innate sense of creativity. An analogy I've used previously is like a calculator. If we have a calculator and we always turn to the calculator to do basic math, addition and subtraction, whatever, right? And then suddenly the calculator is not there, we're going to be unable to do basic addition and subtraction in our head because we've blunted our ability to do that in our head because we continue to offload that work to the calculator. Now, simple basic addition and subtraction, we're probably not going to need to worry too much about that because calculators are kind of everywhere. But creativity, creative writing, that's the core essence of who you are. It's your unique window on the world, making sense of it in your own unique way, finding the insights that only you could have and turning that into a compelling screen story that other people will vicariously experience and thus see your insights or take away what you wanted them to feel from it. If you offload the work of doing that, that's not something that's easily replaceable. So if every time you have an idea for a story, you turn to AI and say, write me the story, do this work for me. Or offloading goes deeper than that. If you say, give me 10 story ideas, I'll pick that one. Okay, show me the 3-act structure for this story idea. Cool, okay, write me a synopsis. Having it do all the work, whether it's at a granular level or a broad level, it's going to blunt your ability to actually do that work. And that is something that is dangerous for you personally. But if you're a writer, a professional writer, and you're worried about AI taking over, you're worried about AI taking over because you're thinking that everyone else is going to outsource, offload to the AI. They're by definition, blunting their ability to tell their unique stories. What do you have to fear from them? There is nothing to worry about from them. This technology is here to stay, right? This technology is not going anywhere. So the better that it gets, the more, the greater its ability to tell better quality stories, the more everyone will be able to offload to the AI to tell AI generated stories. Those stories cannot, will not ever be able to compete with the story that only you can tell. If you can create the stories, find and create and develop your unique voice to tell the stories that only you can tell, there is no competition for people who have blunted their ability to create because they're offloading it all to the AI. So first of all, if you're worried about AI taking over, or you're worried about it supplanting your ability to make a living as a writer, your ideas are misplaced because you're thinking of it as an offloading technology. If you are yourself as a writer offloading to the AI, you are diminishing your future ability to create. Because ultimately, once everyone can type a couple sentences in and it'll spit out a great story, everyone can do it. And once everyone can do it, we're at a level playing field from that perspective. At that point, what becomes the value? The value becomes your unique story. the story that only you can tell. Creative writing is not like other forms of writing, like sales copywriting or just product descriptions or something like that. You can offload all that stuff to the AI. It doesn't matter, but creative writing is your unique window on the world. It's your unique perspective. So we can't think of the technology as an offloading technology because it's going to make us a weaker quality writer. See, one of the things that I've discovered about AI, and I'm probably making another video about this to specifically talk about this point because I don't want this to get lost in one of these videos here, deep 10 minutes in when everybody's clicked away. The expertise quotient. If you have a expertise, if you have knowledge, a deep knowledge on some topic or a skill, physics would be a good example. I know very little about physics, right? It's kind of the basics, but I don't know too deep into it. If you were a professional physicist, if you went deep into that world and you kept up to date with all the latest science of it and the mathematics and the breakthroughs and what this theory is and what that theory is, if you kept in touch with all that stuff, then if both of us ask the same question of ChatGPT, a question about physics, I go, "Ooh, okay. Here's a basic. How does physics work?" And it gives me a simplistic description. You, as an expert, are going to look at it and go, "That's pretty simplistic. That's not. It's not taking into consideration these things, or this is outdated technology." You're going to understand nuances about what it gives to you that I wouldn't see as a layperson that doesn't understand these things. Now, if we apply this to the world of storytelling, as someone who has spent the past 25 years deep diving into the creative process, and I can look at a story and I can say, create a story for me and see how generic it is. We see these guys on YouTube who are, these fanatics about AI, and they're like the latest video technology, and I can type them in a prompt and it creates this amazing video. Look how amazing that is. Anyone who's been involved in film production for any length of time can look at this and go, that's terrible. That is not good. You're impressed by it because you don't know anything about it. But if you know something about it, you're not impressed by it. Why? Because your expertise quotient is higher, so you have a better ability to discern the quality of what's being put out to you. Right? So the better you understand storytelling, ironically, the more you can get out of AI. Because when it spits out its generic story, because you know more about storytelling, can dig in, find nuances and little cubbies and little aspects of it, threads that you can pull on to dig deeper, to pull more out of it, so that you're not getting that surface generic layer to it. Does that make sense? So the more you know about storytelling, screenwriting, creativity, the more you can actually get out of AI. And this is why I talk about offloaders, which is what most people are doing with AI and getting generic results from it. And then I talk about accelerators. If you use this technology, which is exponentially advancing, it is going to continue to get better and better over time. It's going to be able to continue to go deeper and deeper and find more and more nuances and find patterns and all this kind of stuff. If you use this to accelerate your own human creativity, if you use this to help you become a more intuitive human writer, if you use this to help you find the stories that only you can tell from the imagination that only you have, that from your unique window on the world, this doesn't become competitive with you. This becomes a tool. Don't think of AI as a solution. Think of it as a tool. It's a tool to help you become the very best you can be. So if we're thinking of it as an accelerator technology, then the higher expertise quotient you have, the more skill, the more knowledge, the more experience and understanding, the deeper and more precise you can see the nuances of what it's generating, the more you can pull on those threads to go deeper. And that's how you accelerate where you're trying to go. So if you just have a generic, write me a love story, it's going to create a pretty generic love story. But if you understand the nuances of the theme that you're trying to pursue, or the ins and outs of how character dynamics work and the setup and the payout dynamic, and you understand how if I set something up in this way, the audience is going to be thinking this kind of a thing. So I want the twist to be, the more you understand those kinds of dynamics, the more you can actually push and pull with it to get it to become kind of like a sparring partner, like a creative writing assistant or tool or coach or mentor, something that's going to nudge you in the direction that you're trying to go. Ultimately, if you do this to accelerate your human creativity, what ends up happening is as this technology evolves and grows and develops and becomes something pretty spectacular that's going to make you the star of the show sooner than you think, that upward trajectory of this technology becomes something you can actually use to get better and better, faster and faster. You're accelerating with where it's trying to take you. This may seem a little bit esoteric. I've been asked to do some examples so I can show you kind of how to interact with AI to pull more out of it, which I will do in future videos. But right now, I kind of just want to give you some of the concepts of it. Ultimately, if we think of AI, if we imagine the forward trajectory of where AI is going to pretty soon make it such that you as a creative writer who can develop the stories that only you can tell will have tools, thanks in part to this evolving technology, to be able to turn those stories into movies that you don't need to ask anyone's permission to make. Which means that we will start to see movies everywhere, especially on a micro budget level, on a smaller, lower budget level, where people will be able to, creative people will be able to get their stories and their ideas out into the world without anyone's permission, with tapping into what makes that person unique and the unique stories they see and the compelling ideas that they're able to put forth. If you can use the technology to help you develop those skills, you will be ready to actually take advantage of those tools as they come online over the coming year or two or three or so, right? So if we think of this as an offloading technology, we're forever going to kind of take the back seat to the technology. The technology is going to race ahead from us, and it's going to become available to everyone else. And so we are not actually developing the thing that's going to make us unique and special in the future. Right? If instead we see this upward trajectory of it, we hook into it, we learn how to use it, we harness its power and make that in service of us developing our own human creativity, then we are accelerators. We're using the technology to accelerate. And I believe that's the most powerful, the most valuable use case for it. That's why the bundle that I created is called the Accelerator Launch Bundle, to help you understand how to launch into using it as an accelerating tool, not as an offloading tool, not as something that does the work for you, but something that helps you do the work for yourself more powerfully at a stronger level. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this helps. I hope this takes away the fear for you of the tool itself. For people who are using this as an offloading technology, you do not need to fear those people. They may have a leg up on you initially, but gradually they're just going to become part of the white noise. You developing your unique voice and the stories that only you can tell, that come from your experience of life and this world, your window on the world that no one else will ever see. You developing that voice and using this technology, using your own innate creativity to be able to create at speed. That is what's going to make you unstoppable. That is what's going to be able to make you competitive in the marketplace moving forward. And the tools and technologies that are coming online make that entirely possible. I want to show you the math of it in an upcoming video. So stick around and we'll show you how to make this actually happen. Thank you for watching. That's what I got for you today. We'll see you in the next one.